All right, welcome to this episode. I'm going to give you a life update. I had a beautiful, intimate retreat. It was this awesome cabin in the woods, and it feels so secluded, but it's like very close to everything. So I love that. And there's a pond out there, and it was really cool because obviously the middle of summer in North Carolina, it's super hot, super humid, and it had like a torrential downpour, like right as we began the retreat. And I was thinking about like the energy of water, right? Like water washes things away, purifies things, helps things grow. It also like water is the symbol for our emotions. And we did a lot of emotional processing at that retreat. Human design, I learned in 2016, and I've carried it with me. I'm a manifesting generator. And what I know about my type is I tend to attract other Manny-gens. I also tend to attract generators. And I also know Manny-gens, we love doing all the things. So we're multifaceted. And we're also people that people either really like you or they don't really like you. That has also been my experience throughout my life. But I wanted to give you the update that I've been going through for the past, I would say for the past month, but especially the past 2 weeks. So I went on a family reunion trip. I'll do a different episode on that to Idaho, and that was beautiful. I love that state. It's just the mountains is gorgeous and amazing. And I came back. As soon as I came back, my husband was like, we're moving, we're getting a new house. And I've been literally manifesting this. This has been on my vision board since I moved in with my husband in 2019. So this has been how many years? I don't know, 7 years? I think 8 years I've been with my husband. And we have been house hunting for the past month. We've been doing it for the past 2 weeks, past month, like looking at things, assessing them, making spreadsheets, having conversations, and then going out to see properties. And we just made an offer on a house. They accepted the offer. So we are now under contract. So first I want to talk about manifesting in general. Like it's something that I really heavily taught for years. Like I would teach vision board workshops usually every quarter. I think they're that important. And then I reached a point in my business where I was like burning out. And I was like, I don't know if I want to manifest more things because like I got all the things I wanted and it created burnout. And stay till the end of this video because I'm going to talk to you about why the burnout happened and then how this relates to what I'm about to tell you. It's emotional, right? Like it's emotional. It's research heavy. And then you're like kind of negotiating with your partner back and forth. I feel really great about it. Now I'm getting excited for like what I'm going to put in the house and all that kind of stuff. So that's our first like update when I have not been as active on social media as I normally would because I'm literally taking like 2 days out of my work week to go see houses. And I was like, like probably get back to work at some point. And I've been coaching my mastermind students on like, how do you live your life, right? Do the things that are important to you in your life and also still show up for your business and for your clients. So for me, the answer to that is you always just do the easiest thing for you. For me, video is really easy. So that's why I'm showing off a video. It's one of the easiest things for me. But the other thing that has been going on for me for the past, let's call it 6 weeks, is let's just say I have somebody close to me in my life that had a suspicion that I had ADHD. And they would know me well enough to be affected because they also have ADHD to like understand what some of those symptoms are. And so, full disclosure, I'm not like a person who goes to the doctor. I would have to be like actually dying to go to the doctor. I just don't like, I like to let my body heal naturally. Like I'm holistic for the most part. Like I'm not seeking to go to the doctor for many things. But over the past 3 years, I'm 41 now, 3 years ago, like everything started feeling horrible. My body was run down, not energy, joint pain, like exhaustion, couldn't sleep, like all the things. And I think those are symptoms of perimenopause. But for me, it was also symptoms of burnout, like going really hard, really fast, like growing my business very quickly to 6 figures and just learning how to sustain that level of clients. So I started with doing all my labs, nutrition, health coaching. That's my background. I was a health and fitness coach and I also was a personal trainer for years. So like I knew like, okay, let's get health and fitness together. So I did all my labs, found out the information, started using my supplements and like just getting myself to walk. And I did that for a year or two. But also I couldn't work out because my joints were so inflamed. So I went to Pilates for a year or two, went to yoga. And so like I kept doing one thing at a time and then like the next thing and the next thing. And then the beautiful thing is I have have TRICARE, military spouse. So I have access to the healthcare system where I can actually go in, see the doctors I need to see. So I made like all my appointments to see all the doctors, to do all the things, to rule out anything. And then I was like, okay, this person has highly suggested I should go to a therapist, right? Go to psych and like rule out ADHD. So I went and I had been with that therapist for like 6 weeks. And I didn't know anything about this process, but I had to be interviewed for literally 4 hours, like from childhood and what was this and what was that. And I started to learn some things as I went on this journey. What just culminated for me 7 days ago, I finally received my ADHD diagnosis, late diagnosed, 41-year-old female, perimenopausal, and we're starting off trying some medications. But since then, I've been researching everything. I think maybe it just shows up on my feed. I see it everywhere, right? Because I'm like, that's my demographic. I'm like, I want to know about perimenopause. I want to know about ADHD. I want to know how it relates. And so I've done a little bit of research. I'll touch on it here in case you may be experiencing things I'm experiencing. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose. I can't prescribe. I'm not recommending you do anything. I'm just sharing my story. And it's interesting because there's a lot of my mentors that have been in the industry for years that have also recently got diagnosed. I do think there has been a study done that says people who have had traumatic childhoods, like they've had like being in fight or flight, they've had high stress, they end up being entrepreneurs. So I also think you may be more likely to be neurodivergent. You may be more likely to have a business if you've gone through some of these things. And then you may have these challenges that I was having that was making it like really, really hard for me to function about 3 years ago. So hormones affect ADHD brain. And what happens in perimenopause is the estrogen drops. And so what's happening is you're already trying to motivate yourself, right? So ADHD is like, we don't really have the dopamine structure. So we're like changing tasks all the time. It's hard for us to just like follow through on things. So estrogen drops, it also affects that dopamine. So typically what's happening is women in perimenopause are noticing like, holy shit, my ADHD symptoms are like not manageable anymore. When I researched my history, I grew up as a gifted student. I was in the gifted program, but what I always noticed is like, I was not the smartest kid. I think how my ADHD presented was like, I was always challenging the teacher. I was always talking out. I was always asking questions. Like I was disruptive, and I always challenged authority on everything. I was always like, I know better than you. So that's just something to consider, like how it may have showed up younger, right? So another thing, perimenopause, symptoms can get worse, right? Because perimenopause is adding on like the emotions, the brain fog, the forgetfulness, all that kind of stuff. It may not just be aging, it may be something else. So it's just like a good note, go to the doctor. And I needed somebody in my life who loved me to be like, go to the doctor. You can't just pray it away and put a crystal on it. Sleep problems also make ADHD harder, right? Like if you're not sleeping well, perimenopause affects sleep, then it's also going to make like your brain function worse. It's going to be harder. I've had a lot of my clients who similar age bracket, they'll just like show up to my coaching calls and they'll just be like, I don't feel like myself. And I refer them to therapy. I'm like, go to your MD, go to therapy, find out what's going on, because that's exactly what it feels like. It's like, I do not feel like myself. And then what happens, this is where like the anxiety comes in and depression comes in, is like, we typically, if you're a high achiever, you have this high standard of what you think you should be doing, and then you can't do it. And then you feel shame, and then you feel anxiety, like I can't do the thing I want to do. And then depression kicks in. If you're like, I can't do the thing that I want to be doing and I should be doing better. And then you start thinking like, oh, I guess I'm just not 20 anymore. I guess this is what life is. So I'm saying this now, I'm on a low dose of medication. I know it's not quite the correct medication yet, but I can feel like subtle shifts. And I feel hopeful and positive that like the things that I want to get done can get done. And like as a coach for over 10 years, I think I always wanted to mindset coach my way out of everything. And so this is just a reminder that like, we can't mindset our way out of everything, right? There's limits to that. And there's times to like seek other help and support, whether that's functional medicine, MD, chiropractor, therapy, whatever it is. If life suddenly feels harder, you're not imagining it. So that's what happened to me, is like, it took me 3 hours to wake up in the morning. I just like could not do anything. I'd just be on the couch. And then compare and contrast that to me like in my 20s and 30s, I would get up at 5 a.m. and work out. Like I would do a full day. And I'm like, what is happening to me? So for me, like getting the diagnosis was like, okay, now there's something that can help me. And it got so bad that I'm like, I will take any medication. And I know that sounds bad, but like for me, that's the place I needed to get to. It was like, please somebody help me with this. The other thing that's interesting is like how perfectionism and ADHD tie together. My experience of it was always getting in trouble. Like I was just always in trouble all the time. And then my brain made that be like, people don't like me. And like, I kind of carry that forward. Right. But it's like ADHD, the way it shows up in social environments is like, we're loud. We talk over people. We interrupt. Sometimes we talk too much and like tell our story whenever like nobody wants to hear our story. Usually we're loud. Like people call me intense all the time. I remember talking to people in my family, like, I don't know if you have it. Like, is that your personality or is that actually ADHD? And I was like, yeah, for sure. It's my personality and it's also ADHD. Like they're the same thing, right? But typically if you are neurodivergent, you would get in trouble a lot, quote unquote, for not following the rules. And so then what would happen is you would try to do everything perfectly so you wouldn't get in trouble. I think I entered the gifted program 3rd or 4th grade. And I was like at the low end of the IQ, right? Like I was not a genius. I was not a savant. Like I was smart enough and I was like hardworking enough and I really liked science. If I was interested in it, I did good at it. But I was highly aware that I was not the smartest one in the room. And I had to work really hard. Like I did not understand math. Like it took me so long to figure out math. And I remember like those gifted kids like putting their hands up and I'm like, I don't even know what we're doing. Like it was just so beyond me. So what that shows up as, right, with your perfectionism is like kind of realizing that you're not at the same level and you've got to work harder and like try to be better than everybody else. And then we chase the dopamine through rewards. What's more rewarding than getting like straight A's? What's more rewarding than like getting the teacher to say, ooh, you're the best one in the class and like showing everybody your artwork or showing everybody your essay, right? So it's just interesting to unpack how I naturally became a coach for perfectionists because that's how I was. I'm like high achiever perfectionist. That's the way to happiness. And then I ended up writing a book to say that's actually not the way to happiness. And then I end up unlocking a new level at age 41. Like, oh, okay, I have ADHD. That explains a lot of things, right? The other thing that hit me like 3 years ago was, and this was how I like internalized and I started getting really curious. Rejection says sensitivity dysphoria. Like, I don't think any human likes getting rejected, but there's something when it hit me, it felt debilitating and it had never felt like that before. It felt like I couldn't function for like months. Like it was so heavy. People had said some things and it just like spun me out. And it had never hit me that hard in my life. So I was like, okay, there's something here and I need to explore it. So I started like listening to podcasts about RSD. And I was like, tell me more about this. That's a symptom of ADHD. And again, I've always been the person that's like, who cares? I don't care what other people think. Yeah, you can sometimes like coach yourself out of it and decide not to care. And also, when you keep caring after 3 months after aggressive coaching, it's time to like get curious. And so what I have noticed with like this little small dose of meds that I'm on, it has lessened the like self-awareness that I have. Meaning like it's lessened like the, oh my gosh, people hate me thing. Like, oh my gosh, am I doing everything okay? So that's just something I'm noticing. And I just decided like probably continue this journey as I try my meds. For me, getting diagnosed was extremely annoying because it already took me 3 years to finally get the freaking appointment. And I was very frustrated. And I told them like the medical system is literally the hardest thing to navigate, especially if you have ADHD. Like getting the appointment, getting it booked, having to call them back, remembering to call them, sending an email, them sending you a form that you have to fill out. You're not able to fill out the form. You forget about the form. So like it literally took me a year to like get the things booked. Because I'm experienced in coaching, because I've been doing personal development, I have awareness. I have a degree in biology. I have awareness of brain science. I want the person that I work with to be good. I'm highly judgmental. And like, this is my deal. Can you do this for me? And a couple of the therapists were like, no, I can't help you. Like, I think you're like beyond what I can help. And I'm like, you're not wrong. So it also took me a while to like find somebody that was like, that I respected enough to be like, okay, like, let's do this thing. But then so annoying because I had to show up every week for 4 to 6 weeks and asking me questions. I'm answering on a scale of 1 to 10. We're talking about this, doing that. And then at the end of that, I still don't get a diagnosis. That is what I'm here for. And I was like, I need to have some kind of like paper document because why did I do all of this? So then they referred me to this other place. And I was told, like, you can take a computer test. And the computer test basically like tests your reactivity and impulse control and like focus and attention. And like that usually, combined with the 4-hour freaking interview you do, that like tells you whether you have it or not. So I drive up an hour and a half away to go to the office in person. And I'm expecting that like I'm going to do the test because that's what I booked. So I get there and they're like, oh no, we don't do the test. And I was like, what? I literally drove up here. So I'm like, again, I'm having like an emotional outburst. That is another thing that is ADHD. I didn't realize that. Again, I can't diagnose. I can't tell you. I can just tell you my experience. Go to therapy if you have trauma. But typically people who have trauma, like they're going to like go 0 to 100 in their emotions, like very quickly. But also people with ADHD are going to go 0 to 100 very quickly. And so that was always me when I was a kid. Like I was just throwing tantrums all the time. Like if I didn't get my way, I could not settle down. So as I go into the office thinking I'm going to take a test, I like was like, what do you mean? And so I got mad. And like, then they're like, well, we just have to like have another conversation. And I was like, are you serious? I've had 4 hours of conversations. But the person I met was like absolutely delightful. And so we did like another interview. You also like, you have to make sure that you take a drug test too, because obviously if you're going to get any meds, you need to make sure you're not drug seeking anything. So I did that. I was like, okay, cool, no worries. And then I ended up being able to take the test online. And the test was actually like really aggravating. I see a lot of signs and symptoms. So then she officially diagnosed me and I was like, I just felt like, oh my God, thank you. Finally, something is going, like something, I have an answer of something that's going to help me and work. So that is where I've been. That is my past 2 weeks since I got diagnosed. We're still figuring out my meds. I got to revisit them. I got to figure that out. I guess it takes 3 months to 6 months to figure it out. But the reason I wanted to make this is because I was pushing through so hard for these past 3 years. I shared on my stories a lot. I was like, hey, I'm going through burnout. Like, what's going on? But like, what happens is when you overfunction, right? And I guess, again, you have ADHD. So what that means is you have to like really push yourself to do things you don't want to do. And because you're not getting dopamine from it, you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you finally reach burnout. Masking, going to networking events, waking up early, like all of those things are extremely challenging for ADHD. And that's what I was experiencing. So I wanted to document this and then I wanted to just give you a takeaway. This is not me trying to pitch, you have ADHD. It's more so describing the feeling of what it's like when you're struggling and what to do about it. So for me, my main go-to is coaching, meditation, yoga, prayer, Reiki healing, breath work, like any of the things that I know that are my tools, EFT tapping. Some of my coaching was somatic. I did somatic experiencing. Like there was a lot of things I did before getting to this point. And also, you may need other things. And while you're going through it, I think it's important to just say you're going through it. So I think that's what helped me. I noticed that anytime I started to feel shame or I wanted to hide it, I knew that like I need to get out there and share it, because if I don't, like I'm just going to stay stuck here and like feeling ashamed and bad. Like I wish I could have gotten more done in these past 3 years. But now I'm like, okay, every time I just kept moving to the next thing, trying the next thing, getting the next support I needed, and it guided me to this place. So what I want to offer is, if you want to have a conversation with me, like if you're like, I don't even know what I need, but I need something, have a conversation with me. I offer free consultations. I have thoughts about systems and how systems don't work really well all the time for people who need it. I think we all understand that. But that system of trying to get therapy was extremely challenging. And so what that made me feel grateful for was the fact that I know how to get life coaching. It was like, it's like the easiest thing to access. You just reach out to somebody, you get on the phone with them, they do a consult with you. So in that sense, it actually made me really grateful that like I had easy, simple access to coaching for so long. Because if I didn't have that, my life would just look like much different. And so there are skills you can learn, right? Like therapists call it coping, but there's skills you can learn. There are tools you can learn through coaching. And then there's also a time to go and get more support, whether that's medical, therapy, psychiatry, whatever it is. I like to make progress. So I'm like, at least if I'm making progress, I'm reaching out to the right people. I'm making my next move. I'm trying to find out the next thing. I feel like I'm actually like moving through something versus what it can really feel like is like, there's no solution. There's no, like, I can't fix it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I guess this is just my life forever. And I do think sometimes there's a level of acceptance we have to have. Oh, I'm just accepting that this is a hard season. I'm accepting that I have low energy. And there was a level of like, okay, I'm accepting this is where I am, and that's okay. And as I accepted it, I wasn't fighting my circumstance. And then that gave me energy to reach out and get the support that I needed. So that is the main thing I would say is like, let the people know around you what you're going through, even though you may not know the answer. I was giving presentations and I would sit on a stool and I would be like, hey, I'm going through some health things. My energy is just not very high. So I'm just going to sit on the stool. But like, I promise you, I'll deliver you, a valuable presentation today. And so those were the things I see now that really help me instead of trying to like pretend that you're okay when you're really not. And the beauty that I got on the other end of this was, number one, my clients love when I share like this. I'm not oversharing if it's not necessary, but because my clients are perfectionist high achievers and because they typically, we all do this, right? Like we put people on a pedestal and we think they're like much better than they are. I reveal my humanity to them. I'm like, just because I'm your coach and I know how to coach you, and it seems like I always have the answer, doesn't mean that I have everything figured out in my life. That's why I have a coach. So I'm not perfect. Like there's things that I'm still working on. There's things that are just like a complete mess in my life. And so I'll share that with them and just be like, this is what I'm going through. And like, here's how I'm dealing with it. It gives them a sense of like, holy shit, like Cami deals with that too. Yes. Yes. And again, I've learned that I've gotten really good at performing, really good at masking, like really good at quote unquote, being the person other people want me to be. And it may not necessarily be the person I want to be. It may be taking all of my energy to try to be that person. This is something I've actively been doing since last year. And I called it like my summer of Feral Girl Summer. There was something I realized was happening where I had built a brand and an image and a persona that was unsustainable for me. Like I couldn't continue to pretend that I just wear blazers and speak on stage all day long. So I had started sharing like, no, I'm digging around in the dirt. Like that's actually who I am. I'm digging around in the dirt. I'm talking to frogs. I make frog houses and I have birds. Like that is the truest sense of me. So the other reason I'm making this video is just as my own permission and my own announcement to the world that like, I'm just going to start doing what I want on my Instagram, on my socials. Like I will probably do things that do not fit my brand at all. And this is the discovering of who I really am. Because again, as ADHD and as women in general, there's something about like being the person the world thinks you should be, or even like being the person you were 5 years ago with that title or with that job or with whatever. And so I'm like letting go of titles. I'm letting go of like identities, and I'm letting God like create the new path and the new identity. So that has been the beauty of letting some things fall away, right? Like last year, year of the snake, letting things fall away. This year, new beginnings, like literally new beginnings, new creation. So I know that this will resonate with a lot of you because I have friends and colleagues that are leaving things behind, creating new things. I have another friend that just got her house as well. So this is a season of transformation. Like let yourself, instead of like grieving all the things that are left behind, like one of the things happens when you get diagnosed late with ADHD is you wish you had support earlier. And I thought about that. I was like, oh, cool. I wish I would have known this in college. I wish I would have known this in high school. Like I wish I would have known this like a long time ago. Wish I would have had this support back then. Would have changed a lot for my life. Maybe I'd be farther along. Yeah, maybe I would. But I wouldn't have found life coaching most likely. I found life coaching because my life was a wreck and I really needed help. And I've spent 10 years as a coach, 10 years being coached. And so now in therapy, I just feel like it was a good path for me. If you're going to live your life, you might as well not tell yourself it shouldn't be how it is. You might as well not tell yourself that you shouldn't have wasted time with that XYZ. There's really no point because you can't change that. So I think I'd be curious on like, what lessons have I learned? Why, like, how did that create who I am today? What do I know now that I wouldn't have known had I not go through that? So that is the way I'm approaching this now. And I will continue to share what comes up for me. But I kind of feel free because a lot of my clients are neurodivergent and I love them and they love me. And we get wacky together. We both have it. We both got it. So if you are somebody in my audience who is neurodivergent, I'm curious, were you ever watching me being like, yeah, you're 100% neurodivergent? Because I noticed it. I've told a couple of my neurodivergent clients and they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. And the one I could think of is like, she was coaching with me and I was helping her with her ADHD. And she's like, I just cannot get off the couch. And I sang her a song about like, I just wiggle my toes and then I get up. And she's like, oh my gosh, that helped me. And so I'm like, yeah, I know, that helps me too. I have to sing about what I'm doing so that I can do it. So comment below. Let me know your quirks. Let me know if you've seen mine. This is my ADHD coming out video. Just support me, okay? Just be like, good job. Your quirks are great, okay? That's all I'm calling for. It's positive feedback on this. All right? That's all I've got. If you want to talk to me, book a free consultation by going to my website, CamiKennedy.vip. We'll talk to you about your goals, anything that's coming up for you, whether or not you're neurodivergent. Let's get after it. All right, until next time.